Hey there, so in this video we are going to be talking about how to solve a multi-step equation. And by multi-step we basically just mean anything that's more than 2 steps. So for right now we're going to be focusing on 3 steps, solving equations that require 3 steps. And the third step that we're going to focus in on in this video is to combine like terms. All right, so a little bit of review before we do anything. When we look at this expression right here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different terms in the expression above. That's the first answer here. We have 5 terms, okay? Now, this highlighted here in yellow, this is a term. And a term that is like would be another thing that has W's. Now, if I highlight the constant here, the -5, I can also highlight this term. That's a constant. And this term is another constant. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. Now in yellow, my coefficients are going to be the numbers that are right in front of the letters. So I've got a -7 and a 17. Those are my coefficients, a -7 and a 17. Now the constants are the numbers all by themselves, which was the -5, the +15, and the 2. Now, the goal of identifying the yellows that go together and the blues that go together is so that we can now combine like terms. And y'all, that's what the CLT stands for at the top of your notes. It stands for combining like terms. So in this situation, if we were going to simplify this, we'd take the -7W and add 17Ws, and that's going to be where I get this 10W. And then if I do -5 plus 15, I'd be at 10. And then if I'm at 10 plus 2, I'm at 12. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 term expression has now been simplified to 10W plus 12. Now, where are we going with this? Because we're eventually going to be putting an equal sign at the end of all of this, and you're going to be solving for what W is. And when I put that at the end, the first step is going to be to simplify by combining like terms, and then you're going to have 2 steps left over. So let's take a look at these 2 examples, and we'll fill in the notes kind of as we go back. Don't worry about filling those in quite yet. But I just want to point out that this is actually the exact same problem as what we did up here. And notice that I've just now set it equal to the -48. So y'all, in our equations unit, when you see problems like this, if there's more than 2 terms, first you need to simplify it. So you recognize that this can be combined with this to become this. And -5 plus 15 plus 2 is my +12. And my pin there, it looks a little weird just because of the scanner. I just want to make sure you guys see that that is the +12. It kind of looked a little bit like a division symbol just because it was a little bit faded. But there we go. And now we have it set equals to the -48. So this was our first step here, which we had to combine like terms. And now we have 2 terms. So our next step is going to be to get rid of the constant. And that's what you see here, -12 on both sides. So the 12 minus 12 cancels out over here. And 48 negatives with 12 more negatives is this -60. Now all I did in my work was bring down the -10W. So we have that, or sorry, not negative, it was just 10W. So 10W equals -60. And now we're going to divide both sides by the coefficient of 10. So we have W all by itself over here. And that third step, we just divided by the coefficient. And over here, a -60 divided by 10 would be a -6. So basically, this video shows you how to take stuff you already know with another topic that you already know and how to kind of put it together and make it a 3-step equation. All right, so now let's take a look at the next one. All right, from the top, we notice that we have equals 52 over here. And on this side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So I've got 6y's that I'm going to group together with -12y's. So 6 minus 12 is -6y. Now, if you have this -4 plus 8, well, -4 plus 8 is +4. So now right here, we have a 2-step equation left over to solve. The first step we took care of up here, we just did that. We combined like terms. That first step, we combined like terms. All right, now we have a constant, so we're going to get rid of the constant. So for the second step, we're going to deal with the constant, and I'm just going to type that in over here. Ooh, that was fun. Constant. All right, and the next step after that is going to be to get rid of the coefficient. So we took care of the constant, and then our third step will be the coefficient. Awesome. And that's why the title of this page, again, is 3-step equations, where you just have to combine like terms first. That's that third step. So after we combine like terms, we're going to get rid of the constant, positive 4, so I'm minus 4, and 52 minus 4 is 48. Now I'm going to bring down this negative 6y. And so I'm going to divide both sides by the negative 6. That's going to cancel out over here. And 48 divided by negative 6, haha, that should be a negative 8. Y equals negative 8. Okay? All right, cool. So there's a few more down here to practice. You could pause the video if you want and try them on your own and make sure that you get the same answers as I do. Or you could just watch my explanation here, but I'm just going to go through these 4 problems now. All right, so for this one, I've got a positive 12 and a negative 3. And then I also have 6x's and negative 2x's. So 6 minus 2x's is my 4x. And then 12 minus 3 is 9. So we've combined like terms. Now we're just going to drop the line and solve. And when I say drop the line, I basically mean we want to focus on the side that has the variable. So the variable is over here. We have a positive 9, so I'm going to minus 9 on both sides, and that cancels out. Now I've got 4x equals 12, because 21 minus 9 is 12. Now we're going to divide both sides by the coefficient. That cancels out. And here we get x equals 3. Now you can actually check to see if you're right. And it's going to be using Desmos. Let me pull Desmos up real quick. All right, so I just opened up Desmos. And we have here that 12 plus 6x minus 3 minus 2x. And we're now going to tell it what we solved. We got over here, we think that x is 3. So let's tell it x is 3. And see how it equaled 21, which is what it's supposed to right here. So yeah, you can use Desmos to check, okay? In fact, I'm just going to leave Desmos here, and we'll come back to it in a second. Now notice for the problem right below it in your packet, I'm back over here to the packet, y'all, that when you see this minus negative 2x, that's really a plus 2x. So that's really just something to kind of catch. That doesn't necessarily mean to add a step in the work. I just wanted you guys to see here that that's technically a plus 2x. So if you catch it right there, and that's enough for you to see it right here in this step, like, okay, I've got plus 2 and then minus 8, and that's going to be my minus 6. Okay, that's great. But if you're worried you might not catch it and just want to rewrite it right here, that's fine. And then that kind of helps you see there's your 2 of them and your negative 8, so there's the negative 6. All right, now for my constants, I have a negative 3 plus 7, which is positive 4. And then we have the equals 5. So basically the first step is to shrink this down into just 2 terms, and then you have 2 steps left over. If I have a 4 here, 4 minus 4 cancels out, and 5 minus 4 is 1. And I know this feels weird, y'all, but when you divide by the negative 6, we're just going to leave our answer as 1 over negative 6. Just leave it as the fraction. So then that way you can actually check it in Desmos. If you use the calculator to divide and put a 1 over 6, see how you get this long decimal? So that's why we're just going to leave it as the fraction. And now let's just clear this out. So we said for this problem, it was a negative 8x minus 3 plus 7. And I can even type in the original problem, how it was. That's exactly how it started out. But now I just need to change what x is. And for this one now, and I'm going to delete that other problem just so we don't get confused. For this one, let's tell it, we said that x is a negative 1/6. So there's the negative. I just typed that in. And I'm going to put 1 over 6. And it looks like if that's what x is, and this is the expression, it should equal a 5. And it does right there. So I'm using Desmos to just check my work. And I know that my answer here is right. All right, cool. A couple more, like I said, if you feel comfortable on this topic and you don't need to watch the video, I totally get it, but I am just going to explain these last 2. We've got a 14, and a 14 minus 6 is where I'm going to get this 8. All right, we had a 9x, and if you have 9x's and take away 7, you're at 2x's. And then 2 minus 9 is negative 7. Another thing I want to point out real quick is that you could see that these 9x's right here cancel out with the minus 9. And so all we have left is the negative 7. So either way you think of it, it's negative 7x's. All right, we're going to take away 8 on both sides because 8's my constant, and 8 minus 8 is 0 over here. And now I'm just going to divide 0 by my coefficient of -7, and 0 divided by anything is 0. So we've got our answer. And now I'm just going to check in Desmos. So we think the answer is supposed to be a 0 for this one. And now it was a 14 plus 9x minus 6 minus 7x minus 9x. And it looks like if x is 0, that total would be an 8. And the 8 I see right here. So I'm doing everything right. All right, and last one here. We have these 3x's plus these 5x's is where I get 8x. And y'all, 7 minus 4 minus 3 cancels out. 7 minus 7 cancels out. So for this one, we just have 8x equals 16. And when we divide both sides by the 8, we get a 2. And I'll show it just in case you're still watching the video. This expression, we had a 3x plus a 7 minus 4 plus 5x minus 3. And we got the x was 2. And that total is 16. And everything lines up. And that concludes this video where you have just learned how to solve a 3-step equation where the third step is combining like terms, and then you have a 2-step equation left over. Thank you for watching.